Welcome to Beyond the Box. Our guest is a woman who embodies both brilliance and bravery. She is one of the few leading women in nuclear energy safety in Africa, a field where excellence and precision are non-negotiable. But beyond her professional power, she is a mother, an author, and a truth teller. Her new book, The Beauty and the Battle of a Single Mom, is more than a story, it's a testimony. It chronicles her journey of growing up without a father and longing for her mother's love and fearing that the pain of the past might repeat itself. But it also captures the beauty of healing, the courage of raising a neurodivergent son, and the grace of breaking cycles. Today we are opening her heart and her book to talk about motherhood, neurodiversity, culture, and the resilience of a single mom in South Africa. Wendy, welcome. We are so honored to have you here with us today.
Good afternoon, Emma. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you and welcome. Okay, Wendy, let's start with the title.
Yes.
Right, a very captivating title. The beauty and the battles of a single mom.
Yes.
What does that phrase mean to you personally?
The beauty and the battle of a single mom. Firstly, I'd like to say that having a child, just being a mother, is a battle on itself. Mm-hmm. But being a single mom, personally, I feel like it's war because you're doing everything by yourself. Yeah. As a single mom, you have to be a mom and a dad. At the same time, you have to be strong yet soft. You have to be, you have to discipline, and yet you have to give love. So my book speaks about the battles we go through as single moms, be it financially, be it emotionally, be it socially. And it does not only concentrate on the battles, but it speaks about the beauty as well. The beauty is resilience. The beauty is love. Yeah. The beauty is, that's unconditional love. The beauty is celebrating milestones together with your son. So I think it's we go through it, and it speaks about, when you go deep into my book, it tells you that it's, as a single mom, you're not alone. Yeah. We are here for you. We all go through it. But what is important is that in your battle, you find the beauty in it, because in every battle, there is beauty in it.
That is such an insightful statement and so profound, the way you put it. And you talk in your book about the lonely journey that you have gone through, yes. Not knowing your father.
Correct.
But also not feeling the love and the warmth of a mother.
Correct.
And I was curious, why or how did you come to feel so open to share that level of vulnerability in your book?
I am someone that loves journaling. I remember in my 20s, I started writing a book. That was before I had my son. About, I didn't title it yet, but I didn't finish it. But it was about just because you come from an underprivileged family or background, it does not have to determine your future. But I didn't continue with that. And then when I had my son, I'm someone who loves journaling. Growing up, I had a diary every day. I think you, as a woman, you'd understand.
Absolutely.
Dear diary.
Yeah.
So
you would journal your stories?
Yes, I would journal my story. I forgot the question.
Okay, that's okay. That's the beauty of life. Sometimes that's why the neurodiversity, sometimes the brain gets stuck a little bit, and that's natural, right? So Oh, so I was literally, I'm curious about.
Okay.
You were so vulnerable in your
Yes.
book, talking about that journey.
Yes.
Of growing up without a father.
Without a father.
Right, and the lack of warmth and love
Yes.
that you were yearning for to get from your mom, that wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, as I've mentioned, that I'm someone that loves journaling, and growing up, that was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Hence, I had my child at 32 because I was under the impression that because I'm a product, my mother gave birth to me when she was 17 or 19, and my father went to buy milk and he never came back till to date. So that was my biggest fear. It was one thing that I've always prayed that it doesn't happen. Hence, I had my child at 32, 33, because I was under the impression that if I have a child when I'm older, the man will be more matured, he'll be more wiser. And guess what? God or the universe showed me otherwise. And my child and I had to go through the same thing. So it was history repeating itself. And I've noticed out there that there are people that are going through the same things. But when I notice others, especially on social media, I would watch women saying, my father went to buy milk and he never came back, but God gave me my husband to wipe away my tears. And I'd ask myself, but where's mine? God, where's mine? So I am someone that loves journaling, and I believe that there are people that will relate to my story. In my book, chapter 10 speaks about history repeating itself. And I think that was the most difficult chapter to write, because now I had to revisit my pain. And in my house, in my family, we are 2 daughters. My sister's father was present and mine wasn't. But because my sister's father was present, that qualified her to receive the love from my mother. But on my side, that disqualified me to receive her love, because I was a constant reminder of her pain. You know, I had to watch my mother being the mother that I wanted to my sister, being soft, being loving, but to me, she was harsh, you know. But as I grew up and I became a mother, I understood that, okay, I don't think that maybe it was intentional. It's just that in the 80s, there was probably not enough awareness. There were no therapists, and probably she was doing the best she knew.
There we go.
Because motherhood does not come with a blueprint or a manual. And I think that she was just doing what she knew, you know. So even though the damage has been done, because till to date, there's no relationship, that I told myself, it ends right here. I'm going to break that cycle. My child is going through the same thing, but I'm going to be a present mom. I'm going to be a loving mom. I'm going to be a supportive mom. And I am there for my child 100%.
That is so powerful. I like that when you're writing the book, it was also part of healing.
Yes.
I'm picking up.
100%.
And not only was it part of healing, you knew there are a lot of people actually
100%.
who would relate and find your story so connected to theirs as well.
To a point that, you know, when I started working, because up until matric, and then after that I had to go and work and save money and go to varsity. I went to CPUT, did my first qualification, UNISA, second qualification, third qualification. I did that all by myself.
Wow.
But when I started working, I began to see that, because I wanted to belong. Every child wants the love of a mother and of a father. And unfortunately, I was all alone. I had to grow up at a very early age, you know. So I remember how I used to buy my mother's love, because I wanted to belong. I'd give her money. And I noticed that the other friends out there were going through the same thing, whose fathers were not present. They were going through the same thing, trying to buy their parents' love, her mother's love, because I could see how my mother treated me and how she treated my sister. And I used to steal my sister's phone and check their conversations, and I would see the I love yous, but I'd never get them. You know, so I used to do everything in my power to try and buy her love, until I got to a point where I said, it's okay. And I let it go. And writing the book was very therapeutic, because loving my child was therapy. Giving birth to my child, even though my pregnancy was not a beautiful one, a fairy tale, it was difficult, but loving my child, giving my child the love that I wanted from my parents was therapeutic, and it still is. Every little hug heals me. Every little I love you heals me.
Yeah.
You know, so the journey alone of writing my book, it was very therapeutic, emotional, but lots of breaking downs, but very therapeutic.
So I can't wait to get my hand on your book, because it's got so much insight.
It does.
It's so powerful, you know,
It
just
does.
hearing
It speaks about the realities that is going on out there.
And the resilience that you've shown from, you technically took yourself through university, despite not having received the warmth and the support.
I knew that the only thing that was going to take me out of poverty was education.
Yeah.
Even though my circumstance at that time, I was just a poor girl who just had big dreams of not even knowing how you are going to get out of this situation. But I knew that my key is education. I don't have a choice. And I kept going. As difficult as it was, I kept going.
And, you know, that's something I can actually relate to. And I know, you know, if you're at home listening, education does help.
Yes.
Yes, I know it's, you know, there's
100%.
external factors we're looking at within South Africa right now, but education can really take you out of a very difficult situation.
100%.
So going back, Wendy, to your book, because this is such a powerful book that I think every woman should read, not just single moms or single parents. You talk about the battles, right, in your book, as though it's something external, like a stigma from the society, or is it something more of an internal, the wounds that we have to heal from sometimes?
Yes, the battles, they're both external and internal, but the most difficult battle for me was the emotional battle.
The internal battle.
The internal battle, just not only for me and my son. You know, I had to revisit places where I thought I've healed. You know, even after, when I started working, I had to go to therapy as well to heal. You know, before even I had my child. So now the fact that I never had a father, it affected my relationships, it affected friendships. It does not end there. It takes you through life, friendships, love life.
It wrecks everything on its path.
It wrecks everything. And to a point that even if I have a friend, I know that he's going to leave. And I would always say to myself, even if I'm dating someone and it doesn't work out, and I'd always say, well, if my parents left me before I was even born, my father left me, my mother would constantly tell me if there were abortion clinics in our time, I would have aborted you. So, I mean, how do I expect this person to stay if people that brought me into this world, they couldn't love me? So that's how I used to comfort myself and make myself feel better. That I'm not worthy, that I'm cursed, that maybe my mother should have terminated me. That was what I was going through. But also having to watch my son going through the same thing, asking me, where's my dad?
Like history repeating itself.
History repeating itself. Why me, Mom? Am I not worthy? Does he love me? Mommy, does he think about me? And he would come home sometimes and say, Mommy, I'm the only child in class that doesn't have a dad. They would send me emails at school that he broke down. He's breaking down. He's not coping. You know, that emotional battle. I feel like it was a wound that I thought I've healed from. That I had to go through it again for myself. And I had to go through it again for my son. To a point I would ask God, where are you? Why? God, why? There was a point in my life where I hated God. I wanted nothing. I wanted nothing. I didn't want to hear about God. Don't tell me about God. Don't tell me about church. Don't tell me about anything that has to do with God. Because I didn't understand.
Because here you are waiting to have a child at the age of 32, hoping this is a time when it's easy to get stability.
Exactly my point.
So my child history won't repeat itself with me.
Exactly my point.
Right?
Because I was trying not to be, because I was under the impression that it's teenage pregnancy. So I stayed away from teenage pregnancy because I thought history is gonna help, is gonna repeat itself. And guess what? At 32, it repeats itself again. And I'm like, what?
And it doesn't just affect you, it also affects your son.
It's affecting my son because now he's suicidal. Now he wants to kill himself. And we'll find out at a later stage that he's ADHD. What is this? God, what is happening? What is this? Now I had to educate myself about ADHD. What is this? You know, it is, I did it all alone, but we're here now.
Yeah, and it's hearing you reflect so deeply about your journey makes me wonder if you were that little girl who was growing up under the circumstances that you grew up in, what would you like her to know?
I'll tell her that it's okay. I'll tell her that you're beautiful. I'll tell her that you are worth it. I'll tell her that the fact that you are living and alive, there's a purpose for it. I'll tell her that to keep going. Even though it doesn't look like there'll ever be a solution, or it doesn't look like it will get better, but keep going. It's okay.
Wow, that is so powerful. Keep going.
Keep going.
Don't quit.
Don't quit. Keep going, Nana. Go.
So you're a career woman,
yes,
Wendy. And you are leading in nuclear safety, a very high stakes environment.
Yes.
And yet at home, you are the single mom, responsible for everything, right? What does the balance look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Look, in my life, I believe in structure. I do not thrive well under chaos. So time management. At work, it's my source of income. It puts food on the table. For my child, it's my career. So I give it my best shot and I put my best foot forward. When I get home, I'm a mother. I make sure that my family time with my child, my work does not interfere with my family time with my child. So I make sure that I don't respond to emails. I don't respond to work calls when it's family time. I don't allow anything to come
interfere with the family time.
With my family time. I don't ever want my child to feel neglected by me. I don't want him to feel unseen or unheard. Every time when I come from work, we'll sit down, I'll ask him, sweetie, how was your day? What happened in your day? Tell me what happened that was exciting, what happened that you did not like, so that I can understand where he is emotionally. So I always make sure that I structure my day, because I've got other things that I'm doing on my life besides only being a mother. I study as well at University of South Africa. So everything's got its own time. And I prioritize being a mother. And I do understand that being a mother is not who I am. I am Wind, a girl with dreams, and being a mother is part of who I am. So I do not allow being a mother to make me forget my dreams or who I am. I push. That's why I'm telling you, I'm a student, I'm an entrepreneur, I've got businesses on the side that I'm doing. I'm an author, I work in the only nuclear plant in Africa. So I'm wearing all these different hats, but I make sure that I manage them properly with time management. And I make sure that I've got a good structure. As I said, I don't thrive well under chaos. I can't. There needs to be order in my life.
So powerful what you're saying now, and you know, talking about the different hats that you carry.
Yes.
But also, what I particularly like is that you put your best foot forward in
Correct.
all of these hats
Correct.
that you wear.
It's either I do it or I don't do it. If I do it, I make sure that I put my best foot forward.
Well. Yeah, and so when you talk about the hats that you wear, it feels like a lot, and I can only think of some parents at home that are carrying the mom guilt. I don't know if you're familiar.
I know,
as a mom,
I know.
I feel it sometimes.
I know.
And how have you had moments where you feel like, oh, I'm not dividing myself wide and far enough?
Well, yes, 100%. Even though I like to structure my life, sometimes for an example, I've got an online class almost every day at 8. Sometimes I miss class because I've got other things that I have to do, and it's okay. It's okay.
So you've made peace.
I've made peace with it, that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes making money, I've got businesses on the side. Making money, we need money. But if I miss it today, I can make it again tomorrow. But when it comes to my child, I'm sorry, I can't miss that.
Yeah.
So there are times that I miss things, but when it comes to my child, I prioritize him because I know mom guilt. Mom guilt will devour you and reduce you to non-entity. It will reduce you to nothing, and it's a lion that will rip you apart. So I've found myself, I would lock myself in the bathroom and I would cry because I would feel that I'm failing.
Wow.
At being a mother.
Yeah. And that's the worst feeling.
That's the worst
you
feeling.
Can feel as a mother.
It will chow you the whole week. It will rip you apart. You'll be emotional the whole week because you're going to feel that you are failing. But what helps me is therapy.
Okay. That's what was going to my next question. To share with the parents who are in the same journey.
Yes.
What is it that you find worked? Definitely therapy.
Yes. For me, in my house, for me, I go to therapy.
Okay.
My child goes to therapy. I don't only go to therapy when things start to go south. No,
okay.
No. I go to therapy because my child is ADHD, and there are times where I am also not in a good space. There are times whereby I lose myself as well, and then I go to therapy all the time so that I can keep the balance. My child goes to therapy as well so that he can keep the balance. So that's one thing that works for me.
Okay, so therapy.
Therapy works for me. It works in my house. It's therapy right through.
Yeah, and I can imagine because parents who are raising children that are neurodivergent, there's a lot. You have to go to a speech therapist, you have to go to this, ENT, you have to go this and that. But how much more stressfully it can be when you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You work in such a high stakes environment, right? You're a mom, you manage to write a book.
Yes.
You do all the other things. So definitely you need to have some strategies in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I make sure that, you know, the strategies that I have in place, I make sure in my house we communicate. With my son, I make sure that I communicate clearly. I make sure that I'm patient, not only with my son, with myself as well. Because there are times that I plan to do something and it doesn't, and it's okay. It's okay. So I'm not only patient with my son, I'm patient with myself. I take care of myself, self-care. I take care of myself, whether through reading a book, whether going through a jog, 5-kilometer run, or whether it's just taking a drive, going to the beach, get ice cream. But I pour so much into myself because I do understand that a happy mom means a happy child.
Absolutely.
I draw boundaries. You know, I block out negativity because what I am will my child be. So I pour so much into myself because I need to pour into this child. And I always say there's no such thing as you are empty. You can't be empty. It's either you've got positivity or you've got negativity. We are
the cup is always full of something.
The cup is always full of something. So what is your cup full of? So
what are you going to pour out?
What are you going to pour out? Because you can't pour what you don't have.
Absolutely.
So I always make sure that I pour so much into myself. I prioritize myself so much because my little person needs a happy mom. He needs a healed mom. He needs a present mom. He needs a consistent mom.
I'm so happy you're mentioning that because that's kind of the thread we've been hearing from other experts and other moms to say, if you are a mom who is stressed out and is empty, or in your cases, you say you have a cup that's full of negative energy, so you're not going to be effective in supporting your child who's neurodivergent.
100%.
So I like that you're talking about it and kind of also reminding the parents how important it is to love yourself.
You need to love yourself. Self-care is very important. I cannot stress the importance of self-care. Do not reject yourself just because you're a mother and forget who you are and what you stand for. You are that little girl. Take care of that little girl so that you can pour into your child's life.
Yeah, on the topic of talking about your son, I mean, he's 10 years old. Walk us through the journey when you first found out that he's ADHD. Did you feel a sense of shock, relief, or, you know, finally I've got a confirmation, I know what to call this?
I think it was a bit of both. It was a shock because I was like, what is this? Okay. At the same time, it was a relief that, because before he was diagnosed, I was also under the impression that this child is naughty and will start screaming and shouting. So it was a bit of both. It was a shock, but it was a relief at the same time that, okay, I'm not a bad mom.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not a bad mom.
My child is not naughty.
My child is not naughty. My child's mind is just structured differently. My child is just different, you know, and that's when I started getting into therapy, because I had to forgive myself, because the least that I wanted is to become my mom's version. I didn't want to be a duplicate of my mom, you know, so I had to go to therapy to forgive myself. My child had to go to therapy because, as I've mentioned, you would come back from school, teacher doesn't like me. My friend's parents said they mustn't play with me, you know, to a point that he was suicidal, and you'd like, Mommy, I'm trying to do right, but I'm always in trouble. I'm trying. And he would break down like literally all the time. So he had to go to therapy so that he can heal. I had to go to therapy to heal from this constant screaming and shouting, and also go to therapy so that I can understand what it is to have a child with ADHD. So hence I said to you, for in my house, therapy is one of the most important factor.
And I can't help but wonder as you speak, whether you have gone through the grieving process with your child, where you're expecting him to be a certain type or a certain way as he was growing up. And now he has ADHD. What does this ADHD mean? Why is my child like this? I have imagined my child to be like this. Now you have to accept this is who my child is, and this is how he thinks.
Yes.
So I have to catch up and support him the best way I can.
Yeah, when I found out about that, luckily in my previous job, I had a colleague who kept on talking about ADHD. That was, my son was still a baby, and I'm like, what's this? So when I was told that my child is ADHD, I kind of
had a basic understanding.
A basic understanding of what ADHD is. And I remember I used to speak to my colleague when she tells me that her child can't sit still and always trying to hit, and I'm like, no, don't. And I didn't even know what it was, but I'm like, you can't be hitting the child, you can't be screaming at the child. So when my child was diagnosed, I kind of had
some basic idea
of what it was, and honestly, it didn't change anything. It didn't change anything. I was like, okay, we're here now.
What do we do next?
What do we do next? Yeah. This is my baby. This is the love of my life. I mean, what do you mean? I just had to find his weaknesses and strength and allow him to thrive and support him so that he can become the best version of himself. I did not want to change him. There's this thing of people that when they see a child with ADHD, they try to fix him. You can't. That's how he's born. That's how his mind is structured. So the only thing that you can do is just find his strengths and weaknesses and support him through his strength to bring out the best version of him.
My heart is jumping hearing you say that, because that's what our Celebrating Neurodiversity initiative is about at Kids Innovate Africa, to focus on the strengths, because I can't help but wonder if your son if you would have had an early diagnosis for him. Imagine what that would have done for him. He wouldn't have felt people hate me.
Yes.
He would have had understanding of what he's going through.
Yes.
And you would have, because you are a very action-orientated mom, you like, okay, here's a problem. We're not going to focus on the problem for long. What do we do to get to the solution? You would have likely empowered him, gotten some education, and he wouldn't have suffered from hearing that you are naughty, you can never do anything right. So that early damage that it does when our children don't get diagnosis early, it's something that I think needs to be corrected in our society.
Correct. I think that I kind of picked up that there was something, because I think my child was 2, and I took him to the doctor. I said, Doc, there's something wrong here.
When he was 2?
My child was 2. My child would go inside the wardrobe, and he would sit in the wardrobe. I'd look for him and I would panic and scream because this child is nowhere to be found.
And he's quiet in the wardrobe.
He's quiet in the wardrobe.
In peace and relaxing.
Peace and relaxing.
Yeah.
And I would scream, looking for him everywhere. I used to stay in the first floor, and I would think maybe he jumped and he's gone, and I would scream running. And I'd call my neighbors because I can't, and my house was locked. Where could this child be? When I found out, he's sitting there inside the
last place you think he could be. And you know what? That was likely his happy place.
Unbothered.
Yeah.
He was sitting there, and I took him to the doctor. I said, Doc, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was, but I definitely could see that he was too hyper. He was full of life. He was very curious. He was hyper. So I was like, something is wrong. I don't know what it is, but my child, other children, they are a bit calmer. Mine is too hyper, but there's and the doctor said, no, it's his age. It's terrible twos. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We had an episode, a segment where we covered that when you're told, no, he's a boy. It's just a boy
I've been
being
told
a boy.
he's a boy.
Right?
It's terrible too, and he's a boy. Boys are like that.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Which is not very good. Because would you have known earlier, you would have put interventions in place.
Yes.
Talking about how he goes into the closet and he just keeps quiet. When I was in San Francisco, I think 2022, we went into this huge forest, actually, with Obama there. And the guide, I think it's called the Red Forest or something like that. The guide told us about a young adult who's autistic, who was found, the family were exploring the forest, and all of a sudden they couldn't find him. They found him in this gigantic, huge trunk of a tree that's a few centuries old, apparently. And it was very dark. It was almost like a cave, and he was sitting there. And the family was looking for hours everywhere for him. And there he was in peace within this dark trunk of a tree. So it tells you that there needs to be, we need to create an environment where our children can just be in a space of calm and zen, and that the wardrobe was just that for your son.
It was just that, and every time when I can't find him, I'll go to the wardrobe.
And you'll find him there.
I'll find him there, relaxed, unbothered. He's not saying anything. He's just relaxing inside the wardrobe.
Interesting. So you got the diagnosis at the age of 2.
Now, I got the diagnosis that at the age of 2, doctor said it's a terrible 2.
Okay, it's a terrible 2.
I got the diagnosis at the age of 6.
When
he was doing
4 years
grade
later.
1. Yeah. Because when he went to school, that's when the teacher called me and said, I'm not, he called me and said, there is a problem. Your child is brilliant. And she said, look, I'm not allowed. I'm not coming to you as a teacher. I'm coming to you as a mother. I've got children. I've been in this industry for far too long. I'm not allowed to diagnose, but coming from the mother's heart, your child is ADHD.
God bless her heart, that teacher.
Yeah. And she gave me directions, and I took my child to his pediatrician, and we did everything, and he was diagnosed within 2 seconds of walking into that room.
Wow.
And after that, he went on medication. He's on medication, and things started getting better. Therapy also kicked in. Things started getting better.
It's so nice to hear that things get better. And I know you and I talked very briefly about medication, which is a topic for another day. In fact, I think we had Dr. 𝐒𝐢𝐧𝐿 covers it. Hopefully you'd get to hear it around medication. But I love that you say things got better.
Things got better.
Yeah.
It's got its moments. Some days are better than others, but I'm not going to lie to you. Ever since my child went on medication, I don't get reports from school. I'm not called in anymore at school. He sometimes would just sit in his room, and my friend would call me. I was like, are you alone? Where's your child? I'm like, no, he's in his room. It's like he's not here. He's playing games in his room. He's not jumping in the couches here and there, and you have to try to stop him. And he's more calmer now.
Yeah. So he's got the medicine.
He's got the medicine
that looks at the science
and
of
he
how
knows,
his brain works.
Yes, and he knows himself. I don't even remind him. He knows before he goes to school, he needs to have a fat big breakfast, because that thing kind of suppresses his appetite. He needs to have a fat big breakfast. He knows, even if, because I work shifts, I work in morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift. So he knows that He needs to take his medication.
So you empowered him, you educated him.
Educated him.
You kind of touched on it a little bit, but maybe you can take us through the daily battles and maybe even the beauties of how it goes for you and this amazing son that you have.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, just a typical day.
You know what? It's different.
Yeah.
Each day is different, and it depends on his mood. It depends how he's feeling on that day. Some days I would wake up, he's sitting in the lounge, he's brushed his teeth, he's wearing his school uniform. Everything is perfect. He's just waiting for me to wake up.
Yeah.
He doesn't wake me up because he knows that my alarm didn't ring. And I'm like, oh, and we celebrate.
Wow.
We celebrate. That's victory. Come on, baby. Yay!
Absolutely.
We celebrate.
You're ready for school.
We're ready for school.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm proud of you,
Yeah.
you know, and I inject him with positive energy. And when you get into his room, starting from the age of 6, that was advised by my therapist, we've got a chart in his room, Monday, Tuesday to Friday, not Saturday and Sunday, Monday to Friday with the times. So when he brushes his teeth in the first 10 minutes, you put a sticker. If he dresses up in the next 15 minutes, or if it takes long, I put a sad face, a sticker of a sad face.
Yeah.
And
that's time management.
That's time management. That grounds him. It helps him to stay grounded. I'm basically trying to create a structure. So every Friday, every end of the week, we count how many stickers he got and how many sad faces he got. And then obviously I'm going to have to reward him. And that keeps him, that motivates him to do better and be better. So every weekend I bring a gift. He loves gifts. So he looks
forward to getting a gift.
To getting a gift.
Yeah.
So I need to be to have ideas,
to be innovative of what to give him.
Yes.
It must be something he likes.
It's something he likes. So that's what I do. And then in the evening when we get home, that's when we check in. How was your day? How are you emotionally? Did anything happen that you do not like? And also monthly, every month we have a meeting in the house where we sit down and I'm like, okay, Papa, you know, I want to know, how can I improve as being a mom? How can I be a better mom? What am I doing that you do not like? What would you like Mama to change? And he would tell me what he does not feel comfortable, and I will have to go and work on it because obviously I'm trying to be a better mom. Absolutely. And I will also tell him what he's doing that I do not like, obviously as a child.
Yeah.
But he'll get the hang of it. But we have a monthly meeting every month. And do you know why I do that? Because one day my child is going to sit in front of someone. Yeah. And this I stipulated in my book. One day my child or any child is going to sit in front of someone and your child is going to have to explain to someone how it was to be raised by you. It's either your child is going to speak positive of how it was to be raised by you, or your child is going to have to sit in front of a therapist and try to heal from the traumas that he received being raised by you. So I try by all means to be, there's no perfect mom. I'm no perfect mom. No one is, you know, but I try my level best to sit with him and I always try him that I want to be a better mom because one day when God remembers me, I want my child to say, my mother loved me. One day when God remembers me, I want my child to be able to say, farewell, my queen, you loved me. And for me, that would be the biggest achievement. And I believe I would sleep in peace knowing that I gave all to my child. I don't want to have a child who's trying to go to therapy and try to heal from childhood traumas of the way I raised him.
This is so powerful. What you're speaking to, it's relevant whether, you know, you as the listener are a neurodivergent parent or not. This goes across the board. You know, being your level of self-awareness is so powerful because yesterday we were talking to a radiographer, as I've mentioned, and she talked about having difficult conversations. So you are equipping your child to have difficult conversation. Correct. And you're actually even on the receiving end to say, what can I do better? What can I do better? Because all of us, we are learners. In this life. No one knows anything about life. We are learning every day and we're trying to become better every day. So I always ask him, what can I do better? What do you want me to change? What kind of a mother do you want?
because as I've mentioned to you, that I used to watch my mother being a mother that I wanted to my sister, but to me she was totally different.
And she never asked you.
And she never asked me. I've never heard an "I love you" from a mother. I've never. You know, so I try, when I do that to my child, it heals my childhood traumas as well.
Yeah.
When I pour into my child's cup, it heals me as well.
It's so nice to hear you say that, because more often than not, people who have been hurt, they hurt others.
But people hurt people.
Yours is just the opposite.
Yes, you can change the narrative if you want to, and I choose to change that. I choose to say it ends right here, not under my name. I am not going to be that mother. I am going to be a loving mom. I'm going to be a present mom. I'm going to be a supportive mom. I'm going to be a patient mom. I'm not a perfect mom. I can't be a perfect mom. In fact, children, they don't want perfect moms or perfect parents, but they want present parents.
Absolutely. Sure. So much power and a lot of punch in what Wendy is saying. And maybe before we move on to the next segment, I wanted to mention at Kids Innovate Africa, that's one of the practices we make actually. After every class, after every workshop, coaches would ask the students, so how did I do? It's not like in a traditional school where the teacher is always right, or in our traditional families where the parents are always right. No, I'm the mom, I'm the father here. You get to listen. What can I do better? Your opinions matter to me.
Correct.
Like, what can I change? I know you say you liked most of the things, but what is that one thing that you think if you were me, you would change?
Yes.
It's nice that you're facilitating those conversations at a family level.
Yes.
Yeah, just something to learn. So if you could shift one culture, one mindset in our culture as Black people right now, what would that be?
It will be that ADHD is white people stuff. This thing is not for us. These are white people. They're trying to rip us off. They're trying to make money out of us. I'd shift the mindset and allow people to trust professionals, because the professionals, they know what they're talking about. You know, these are not white people stuff. This is a human.
It's a science.
It's science.
Yeah.
You know, so people tend to think that this is white people stuff. It's not white people stuff. Let's just allow ourselves to be educated in this, to learn. Let's just allow ourselves to learn and move with time.
And for you at home who's listening, what I like about what Wendy's saying is she seizes the opportunity to educate. Yes, we can blame them because they don't know, you know, it's out of ignorance more often than not that people act a certain way. But as you heard from Wendy, seize the opportunity, educate, and also more importantly, monkey see, monkey do. So you never know how your behavior is teaching those that are around you and watching. So let's move on to school. To your experience, you and your son's experience within the education system in South Africa. We've had a lot of moms, Wendy, or a lot of parents that have a lot of fears about the education system, and some of them, yes, managed to figure things out, but for many of them who are likely watching today, they're still worried about access to education for their children. What has that journey been like for you and your son?
Look, it hasn't been easy, you know. I've had to find myself going to my child's school to fight, you know, because I felt that his needs were not met, even though his school caters for neurodivergent children. But I felt like they're not doing enough. I had to find myself fighting because there was a time my child didn't want to go to school anymore. He was like, I don't want to go to school anymore. And he's currently in grade 4. He was in grade 2. I don't want to go to school anymore. He used to cry when he has to go to school. Oh, mommy, when is it? Is it Friday? I can't wait for Friday. And that's not him. My child loves school because he's a bright star. He's a bright star. So I knew there was something wrong there. And the fact that he didn't want to go to school, I went to school and I called everybody in that boardroom and I said, we need to talk. And I kind of understood because his class teacher was fresh from varsity. So I think she was not educated enough to know about the kind of children that she'll be dealing with. you know. So I think that the schools also, they need to educate the teachers. They need to train the teachers before they get into the real world. That these are the kind of children they'll be dealing with. So it was war. I'm not going to lie. I had to tap into a very uncomfortable space, and I knew that if I'm not going to fight for my child, who's going to fight for my child? And I'm not going to lie and say it's a good space to be in, because I felt like I'm rough. I felt like I'm too wild. It's not a nice feeling. I don't like fighting. It drains me. But I had to for my child, and since then, I'm not going to lie to you, things changed.
Things have gotten better.
Things have changed in the school. My child wants to go to school every day. You would say, "Oh, Mom, it's 6 o'clock. Okay, we need to sleep because I want to wake up tomorrow is school." So I had to fight, and I had to do it all by myself. It drained me. I'm not going to like. I'm not a person. I'm not a fighter. I don't like fighting.
But as you can hear, your son only had you to fight for him.
He always says, "Mommy, why is it only you? Why it is always you?" Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that stood. I'm the only one that chose to stay and raise you. So it is what it is.
And I like that. Yes, at that moment, I can only imagine how conflicting of emotions you felt. But you had to do it.
I had to do it.
If you don't fight for your son, nobody else will.
He's going to be abused.
Yeah, he's
and not under my watch.
Absolutely.
You are not going to abuse what I gave birth to. I'm very sorry. I will fight tooth and nail.
Yeah, sir, sure. Yeah, and I think I've mentioned, Wendy, we had one of our dyslexia experts, Yolanda, has gone through exactly the same journey as you're going through. And she fought the battle for her daughter to be given what is allowed within the Constitution, which is, access to education. So I'm quite happy to hear you sharing this with the audience at home, because sometimes it's not everybody who has the courage to say, yes, this is going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to feel all sorts of emotions, but I'm going to the battle because I want 100%. My child to thrive.
And I even told them at school, if this doesn't change, I'm taking it straight to the department. I am going to fight until my child's needs are met. We are paying a lot of money in the school, and I am going to fight it tooth and nail. And I fought. I fought. I was alone. I was the only parent there, and there were about 6 teachers in I fought.
Yeah, and which makes me think, and I'm happy you fought, and as a parent at home, and sometimes it could be just a matter of educating. The fact that they had a teacher who was fresh out of university, but also the university hasn't trained the teacher to say, you're going into a schooling system. In the schooling system, just like you're going to find people, you're going to find boys and girls, or orange and green people, you will find people whose brains are different. 100%. And this is how you support them. And that's something that one of our autism expert, Kristen, she will address a little bit more about it. The work that she does with universities that train teachers, so they get taught there before it comes to your child, because the impact it can have on your child being taught by a teacher who doesn't understand different types of minds and brains can be very harmful.
Imagine a 6-year-old coming home saying, my teacher doesn't like me. I think that's what threw me off. And it was war. I went to war, and I was like, I'm going to fight this.
And thanks you fought, and thanks your child is enjoying school. And what are his favorite subjects before we move on? Because I hear he's quite brilliant.
He's a shining star. Maths.
Okay.
Afrikaans. I don't know where he gets Afrikaans from.
Okay.
Because we don't even practice it.
He's got brain for it
in the house, but he's Afrikaans. In fact, almost all his subjects, because he's one of the top stars in the class. So he's, in fact, all his. I don't even sit and do homework with him. I don't even see him studying. But he will come home with 6s, 7s. Wow. How, I don't know. But all I know is that he's my baby genius. And he makes my life. He makes my life very easy. He makes my life very easy. I don't have to run after him. I really don't, because I know that he's. He's good at what he does.
I'm happy you're mentioning that, because that's kind of what we've uncovered working with neurodivergent learners. And I know it's a spectrum, and there is, and I also know that intelligence is quite a complex matter, that there could be emotional intelligence, there could be academic, cognitive, there's different types of intelligence. But what we have found, most of our neurodivergent learners here, they've got very high cognitive abilities, and which is clearly the case with your son. Yeah. So I just can't wait to see when he's well nurtured through schools, what he becomes and what career.
And the way he's so smart, he would watch radiation. He would watch volcanoes erupting. He would watch that's the things that he watched. He'd watch documentaries. And I'm like, oh my goodness. One time I was sitting in the room and I was watching him. He's watching how radiation, and I'm like, okay, this is my field. Yeah. And he's there, he's sitting, you are calling him, he can't even hear you, he's blocked everything because he's focusing. That's the kind of a child that he is.
And because it's a spectrum, our neurodivergent students or children, they are found to have very high level of focus.
Yes.
And he's focusing on something that people study or get to hear only at university level. The concept of radiation, grade 4.
That time he was still in grade 2.
He was in grade 2.
He was still in grade 2. We would even now we tell you about a volcano or how it erupts or when it erupts, and he'll tell you about how electricity is made, because that's what interests him. And he would sit and watch documentaries, and because that's what interests him. He'll tell you how a car was made, when it was made. He'll tell you when was the first car and all that. So he's shame when it comes academically. I
can't wait for him to come to our robotics class, because as you're speaking, I'm thinking of our students that talk about these things, radiation and extracting water out of Mars, and all these things that people are like, okay, where did you learn that? How do you know that? And he can comprehend them because it's things that he's interested in. And I'm curious, have you we have a mom that we're meeting in Joburg. She's a businesswoman, and she's going to talk about her son who is also diagnosed with ADHD, I think at the age of 5. And he was taken out of a private school, into another one because they found that he's gifted. So intellectually, he's got very high IQ.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that's something you've thought of to check for your son.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So it's
but now that you're mentioning it,
it's something worth checking, because if you look at, there are people that have broken the barriers as far as innovation is concerned, like Elon Musk. He's got Asperger's syndrome, right? What's the other one? Richard Branson. He runs Virgin Galactic, and there's quite a few of them. Bill Gates. Those people are neurodivergent, but nobody focuses on that. They talk about their geniuses, and I yearn for the moment where you go home to the Eastern Cape, and all the relatives can talk about and tell other guests, this is Wendy's son. Wendy's son can teach you something about radiation or how electricity is being manufactured. Can you believe it? Those are the conversations we want to have, less than, your child keep doing this in the class. We just don't want to hear that. We know, because we all have our own moments of weaknesses, but it's important to focus on those strengths.
Correct.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I'm very delighted to hear he's doing well academically. As we come to close, Wendy, I would like you to touch on a little bit of the different hats that you wear as a professional, as a businesswoman, entrepreneur, as a university student, as a mom, as a daughter of somebody, but also as an author. Can you tell us, how do you take care of Wendy with so many hats?
Look, I prioritize self-care, whether, as I've mentioned, whether it's through going for a jog, whether it's a nap by myself, whether it's going to the beach, ice cream, but the only thing I know, the thing that helps me, that I love, is retail therapy. I love that.
Okay, most women do.
I love that. That's my safe space. It works for me. So I draw boundaries. As I've mentioned, that I draw boundaries, and I make sure that I take so much of myself, take care of myself, because as I've mentioned, that my child needs a happy mom. My child needs a healed mom. My child needs a present mom. So I do not neglect who I am. I might be wearing these different hats because obviously I'm trying to build a legacy for my child. But I think the most important legacy that I'm building for my child is him being a better person, more than chasing money. Money comes and it goes.
Absolutely.
You know, but raising this beautiful soul, I think for me, that is legacy, because one day he's going to be a husband. One day he's going to lead. One day this is the next future president we're talking about. You know, I need him to, when he's working with people, I need them to say he's a good man. I need them to say that it's a pleasure working with Ulubambo because of the kind of person he is, because of the kindness. So more than chasing money, I'm trying to make sure that I groom, because when you groom him into this beautiful flower, you are raising generations. He's going to pass that over to his children, to his children's children. So it's generations. That's generational wealth for me, you know, at least knowing that my offsprings, they're doing good. So money, yes, but it comes and it goes.
Absolutely. And that legacy doesn't go.
That legacy doesn't go. At least when he's at work, people don't have to tiptoe run around when they see him. You know, they'll be able to be comfortable to go to him with their problems. He'll be able to listen to them. He'll be able to guide them. That's what I'm focusing in. As much as we all need money, but that's for me, that is legacy.
So Wendy, we're moving on, and I know we are about to wrap up, but I want you to speak to that mom or that single mom at home who's listening to your journey. What do you want them to take away from your journey, but also from your book?
Mommy, you are enough. It is okay not to be okay. You are not, when you feel that you are not okay, you're not a weak mom, you're just a tired mom. Believe in yourself. Forgive yourself when things don't work out the way that you wanted them to. Forgive yourself. You are worth it. You know, you are not alone. We are in this. Try to get support, whether it's through family, whether it's through the community, whether it's online support, but you don't have to do this alone. Try to mingle yourself with people in the same situation, people that have walked the path, because they know it better. They will guide you. Open yourself to professional help. You know, the professionals, they know what they're talking about. Allow yourself to learn, but the most important thing is that you are beautiful, you are strong, you are powerful. You need to forgive yourself for things that did not happen, and you need to trust your gut, and you are doing good.
Yeah, Wendy, we are coming to an end, and goodbyes are never nice. But as we conclude, when you reflect back on your life, do you see more battle or more beauty?
Currently, I see more beauty, because the battles, they are there. But I was speaking to my friend, and I said, when I gave birth to my son, and in fact, all mothers, we all go through this. You tend to forget yourself, as I've mentioned that once you have a child, you tend to think that you forget about yourself, and you think that you are being a mother. A mother is not who you are. A mother is a title.
Part of who you are.
A mother is part of who you are. It's a title that's not entirely who Wendy is. Wendy is a girl who's got dreams, who's passionate, who's fighting, trying to succeed, you know, whether academically, financially, you know. So I always say that we tend to lose ourselves. Do not lose yourself, and forgive yourself for things that did not take place. Because when that happened to me, I remember when my son was 6, I remembered who I was, and the game changed. I remembered this girl who wanted to have many properties, and the game changed. And I fought. Currently sitting here, I've got many properties because I remembered who I was, and I fought, and I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
So I see right now many beauties more than the battles, because I've learned from them and I've overcome them. And right now I'm speaking from a place of healing. I'm not speaking from a place of hurt.
Yeah.
No. I'm speaking from a place of healing. So you need to heal and understand that healing is not a destination, is a journey.
That's it.
So I'm speaking right now from a place of continuous healing. Just remember who you are. Do not neglect yourself. And that's exactly what I did. And trust me, the game changes after that.
So powerful. Very powerful. Before we say our goodbye, I know most of you at home are wondering, how do we follow Wendy's story? How do they connect with you?
Okay. I'm active on LinkedIn, Wendy Figlan. Mostly active on TikTok, Wendy Figlan. On Facebook, Wendell's Figlan. My account is currently locked. I'm just trying to
rebuild.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on Instagram is Wendell's One. But where I'm currently very active is TikTok, Wendy Figlan.
So we'll share the details. Yeah. And where do we find your book?
The book should be released, okay, let's not say next week, around the 17th. I'm just trying to stretch it. It can be out even next week, but just in case.
Yes.
I'm still working on my online store, but currently if people can probably inbox me, is it fine if I give my cell phone number? Because
absolutely, we'll share it in the description.
On the description, if you just send me a WhatsApp, because currently what I'm going to do is, once the book is released, you send me proof of payment, and I'll courier the book to you. Until the online store is back online.
This is a book, I'm telling you, you do not want to not have it in your hands. And that's a book that I'm really looking forward to, because there's so much beauty in your story. And what you've taught us here, Wendy, is such a powerful story of how beauty and the battles are not opposite.
Yes.
Right? They live in harmony together.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you for sharing your story today. Yeah. So I want to say to every single mom listening today, especially those of you who are raising neurodivergent children in South Africa, may you find hope in Wendy's story. May you know that the battle does not define you, and the beauty is always worth holding on to.
100%.
We learned today. Wendy, thank you for your courage, for your honesty, and for your light. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Emma.
From all of us at Beyond the Box, please remember to like, to follow, and share. This does it for us today. Goodbye.